All right, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just got to make sure because oh yeah, then that stupid thing is not there, so I got to do that. I can start off with welcome to Astro Roundtable, episode 356. My name is Ben Bumhofer. It's Friday night. It's party night, and with me, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben. It is Friday night here in Azeroth, and I'm super happy to be joining you at the round table on what is apparently party night, although I didn't know, and I'm ready to party. I didn't bring a party hat, but I did bring myself, and I brought a friend. His name is Tetsemi. He's in our guild. I'm super happy that he's going to join us, and we're going to tell you all about why we're Mount Buddies. But that's coming up later in
Whoa.
Azeroth Roundtable. Look at
All
that!
three of us, Mount Buddies.
Covered it all with
Done.
high energy.
Hi guys.
Hey, Ted, how's it going?
It's going good.
good.
It's going good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's very good news, guys. I am here to tell you about how excited I am to jump into World of Warcraft after we're done with this episode.
Oh, really?
Yes, like super excited.
Super excited.
Yeah, I've got some work to do, and that is to get the permanent transmog flower crown for Lunar Festival this year.
Wait a minute. When you say permanent, you mean you can use it any time of the year?
You
even
can
not
use
to-
it any time of the year.
What is it? Is it just flowers on your head?
It's flowers and a ring around on your head.
All right.
Flower crown.
I don't know if I'm going to work hard for it, but
Oh, I'm totally going to work hard for it. You need to go to Moonwells and get a buff from all of them, from like 8 of them or something. And then you come back and then you get a flower crown.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Flower crown. That's what
Well,
that has you most excited in WoW right now.
I thought that was actually going to be our entire topic, but no one else cares. So this episode's over, so I can go get me a flower crown.
You thought Ben's like, I'm banking on the flower crown. We're going to get a solid 60 out of this flower crown.
Okay, no, honestly though, I am excited for that because I like transmog and Alani looks really good with flowers in her hair. What can I say? But I don't know. Like I know I was kind of lukewarm on 8.3 last week. This week, I'm kind of feeling it. I'm actually moving like more towards all in on this.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I went hard the other way, and then I got roped back up a little bit. But man, did I fall hard! I in a span of I was in a Slack channel, and a good buddy of ours, one Kyle Ferguson, said, "Hey John, curious about the patch. Love the old god aesthetic and all that. What do you think of it?" And I was like, and like at the time I was just like, man, it's all right. I was like, they do some cool things. I wish they leaned into it a little bit more. I said, I think they made some like kind of bizarre decisions around it. Like, I think there was a quest, and maybe you all paid better attention than me, but I think there was a quest where you do a bombing run, and then it's revealed you've been bombing your own people, and you thought you
Yes.
were bombing monsters.
Yep.
And
I haven't done that one.
That's a super cool moment, and like a
Right.
really cool thing. But the way they've structured this patch, I so don't care about what's going on that I only kind of picked it up. And so it didn't really have the kind of impact that that kind of story should have. It was just like part of the quest. And it was like, okay, I did a bombing run, landed, and I just happened to catch enough of the quest text to go, oh, was I bombing our people? They didn't really seem to care. They were like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. And I was like, I agree. I didn't know. And that was kind of it. And there was no ramifications. There was no like,
Follow
oh
up.
God, there's no dramatic music. And so I told him in my response, I was like, there's some neat ideas in there. But I think the execution's a little muted. Like, it seems to be more just like, yeah, we put paper on it. Like, it's sort of like if they dress up. Maybe that's not even a good example. It's like when they dress up Space Mountain and they put theming on Space Mountain. Like, yeah, all right, you played some different music and it's still kind of just a roller coaster in the dark, like it's fun. Like there's fun there, but like It's not a different ride because I saw a TIE fighter at one point, or because a space nebula went "Rah!" at me. Like, it's still kind of just the same thing. And that's sort of kind of how I feel about this theming. Like, it just sort of dressed it up. And that's why I said, but, you know, there's some really cool things. The horrific visions are really fun to run, and I'm having a good time. And I finished typing that, logged in, did my first horrific vision. When that wrapped, went back, typed to him, "This patch is bullshit. I hate it. I think it's awful. Don't play it. I take back everything I just said about it."
Okay, well, that's definitely a very fast turn. Is it just because you were done with that horrific vision so fast? Or did you not succeed? Like,
It
like
didn't go
what?
well,
Okay.
Ben. It didn't go well.
Was it Org or Stormwind?
Stormwind.
Oh,
Okay.
was it not the first area, but the second area
Yeah.
with the BS mythic
Actually,
plus mechanics?
it was well, where it pops you around and you're like,
Uh-huh.
"Ah." Yeah. So here's the thing. I understand that we live in an era where you can go to websites and you can get a detailed strategy and walkthrough, or you can go to YouTube and you can watch a video, or you can catch a streamer that you like running through it, giving you tips and tricks. I wanted to go to it normal. Honestly, if you've seen me run a dungeon when I'm new to an instance in a new expansion, it would annoy the crap out of most people. I take my time, I look at things, I go ooh and ah over the stuff. I would love to do that.
That's why when we do those together at the beginning of the expansion, it's fantastic because I am the same way.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Like, it's very slow, it's very methodical, it's very like, oh, what's going on here. And that's how I would love to do horrific visions. Unfortunately, I can't. But I'm also not looking up any strategy. I was like, okay, I want to go in fresh. I want to get an idea of what's going on. And I went in, and it already didn't go well because, like, I was stealthing past enemies, and I stepped on one, and got in a fight I didn't want to get in, and got through that, and it was okay. And then I stepped on the AoE thing that you have to shoot, and it shrinks the area. I didn't realize that was a thing, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm learning. I'm figuring it out. It's fine. And I went into the second area, and I kind of got lost. I don't spend a lot of time in Stormwind, so I got lost. And so I turned and walked through what seemed like the way I needed to go, and got a warning message and was like, oh, is this like a boss is spawning? Like, what? It just took me a minute to go like, oh, what is this? Reading, and it's like, you are outside the realms of the vision or whatever, blah 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 blah. Basically, we're killing you right now. You took a wrong turn, you went through something you shouldn't have gone through, so we've decided we're gonna murder you. And I went,
So it's
oh.
like when you actually go to Stormwind.
I was like, oh, that's not good, hold on. So I turned around and stepped out, and then pew, it sprinted me and flung me across the map into the like sub boss guy of that area.
Right.
And all of his friends and another pack of enemies that I didn't realize was there. And I went, oh crap, this is too much. I'll just vanish. I'm a rogue. But he can see through it because of course he can, and broke it, and I died. So I basically lost all my health going through the wall, and then I just got pummeled to death by a big boss. And there was one of my runs for the week. And it just, I already was unhappy with the limitations on how often you can run them. As somebody who wanted to be able to get in there and see it and all of that, it was already a point of contention with me, even as somebody who had relatively successful runs the week before. I only had one failure the week before, and it was because I didn't know what I was doing. Again, I just took too long. I thought I had time to fight guys outside and then go and fight Thrall, and by the time I realized, oh no, it was too late. So I couldn't get him down in time. So it just made me realize how frustrated I am by the limitations on running the visions. And that was where the anger outburst came from. Once I got back in, played a little bit more, I softened on that. I don't think it's BS. I've been playing plenty, but I still there's still plenty of room for improvement on this patch, I think.
Yeah, I agree. The runs, I think, John, you're right, because those vessels, instead of just being, oh, it's a key I've got, I can go run it like the mage tower, it's more like my precious, I can't waste this. And so we've been doing like group runs, with people in the raid team, and yeah, very methodically, like sitting there, okay, look at the map, okay, we're going to pull this pack, then we're going to pull this pack, oh crap, that's going to possibly knock us into this group, so we're going to take out this group. And we've had successful runs, but you're right, when you waste one of those vessels, it feels like a huge setback, and it shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you about my experience and what's going on here. Because again, happy guy.
Yeah, Ben's happy.
Yeah,
He must have had a lot of really good runs.
You'd think. So Tuesday happens, and it's like, oh, new invasion! I can get a vessel. This is great. I'm level 5. I want to get to level 6. Woohoo! Whoopity doo! Happy times for all. So I'm like, okay. I soloed Thrall, or not every time I went in there, but because of the raid team, I went in a couple times with some people and stuff. But I know I can solo Thrall, so I'm gonna jump in here. I'm gonna see if I can take care of Valeria. This is great. So I go in. I'm like, okay. I pull the first group. I have to line aside them because I'm a healer. It takes me forever to kill stuff. Don't know if you know that or not.
You may have mentioned it a couple times.
So I'm in there and kill some trash. I'm like, okay, cool. Cut around the corner. I'm like, okay, I'm out of range of the rest of this trash, so let me take care of the guards. I'm like, this is great. I CC one of them. I'm attacking the other one. It's like making me run around all over the place, and I'm scared I'm going to aggro other stuff. Run back, re-CC the first thing, finally kill the dude, kill the second one. My sanity is like getting super low because it took me so long to kill just 5 mobs. So then I hit the sandy, I go in, and then there's like Ilaria just talking for a little bit. I'm like, oh, this is ruining my sanity. Shoot. So then she starts attacking. I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm keeping an eye on her health versus my sanity, and her health is going down faster than my sanity. So I'm like, okay, we're doing this. It was the random thing where like a little bit pops off and then there's a circle on the ground and you do like way more damage if you stand in the circle.
Yeah,
right.
She stays at range. So as a melee character, I was gimped the entire fight at 10% less DPS, on top of being a healer. So I'm like, awesome. So I actually enjoyed the fight. The whole line of sight thing was cool. The hey, get out of her shower of arrows or whatever is cool.
Right.
I go through, I kill her. I'm like, this is awesome. All right, I'm happy. I finish it. I get the chest. My quest doesn't tick off, so I'm like, okay. So I click on the gate. I'm like, I guess I get it after I get through the gate. Didn't happen. And I'm all like, oh no. And I look at the quest and it's like, you need to go deeper in. That's Rathion's voice, by the way. You need to go deeper in. So I'm like, oh. Well, that was a completely wasted vessel. And I was upset about that.
Well, at least you got your first chest. Let me tell you, as somebody whose first run didn't get a chest at all.
So you killed Ilaria, but you didn't go back and kill... Wait a minute. Oh,
as soon as you kill Ilaria, it's over.
Yeah.
Right, got it. Yeah. No, I forgot you were on the 2-part run.
Yeah.
Because you were at rank 5 trying to get to rank 6. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then I will fairly admit that is entirely my fault for not rereading the quest text before I go in there. It is my fault.
I'm going to say it's about 50-50 because I'm going to say they do a job telling you, they do a bad job telling you.
Well, I will say this. When I did the, looked at the map, for quest objectives and stuff, it was on Ilaria. The torn pages was on Ilaria. So in that sense, I'll say, okay, partial blame is maybe on the, quest design, but overall, I failed to remember that I needed to go deeper. I'm calling myself at fault here. I'm not blaming them, even
Well,
though
you're being
maybe
generous
it's true.
because
You're being,
I'd
yeah.
give you
I mean,
25% because I'd say this. One, it's not well written to make it crystal clear, and by this time you've done it several times, so why would you expect suddenly the quest to be different? It is a different item, but it also seems you're going to pay notice to that. But two, like you said, the map is misleading. It's kind of hidden, and for most of us, we accepted that quest several days ago. It's not like we just took the quest and went, "Oh right, I know what I need to do," and went in. We took it days ago and went, "Oh, I can't run this anymore," and had to wait a couple days and then go back in. And so it's not just that it's misleading; it's also hoping that you remember what you read
Okay.
several
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Well, okay, I'll go along with you on that, but I'm still taking, I think, the majority of the blame here for not rereading the quest text beforehand. But
I-
that aside, I was pissed off when I got out of there. But then, like, okay, so after the show last week, I actually talked to messaged Tetsemi or something in our raid Discord about my displeasure of, I'm just going to be behind this entire time, and you filled me in on, the actual mechanics of it and how the actual cap is only going up one level per week, and I'm like, that's not too bad.
No.
Like in the idea of I'm going to be behind on everything that I do, that's not bad. The fact that you still are, kind of forced to only be able to run it a couple times per week and stuff, that's the part that, everybody's having issues with versus the people who are like, this is amazing. But I'm kind of okay with all that because this week was supposed to be a super busy week for me where I record or raid every single night. And due to no fault of my own, everything had to be rescheduled or pushed except for raid. So I was able to kind of get in and, just do stuff and enjoy my time in WoW. And I gotta say, I had fun. I had a lot of fun. I mean, granted, I was filling up bars. I was, you know, doing the minor visions or whatever you call them and stuff. And then, I sat around and waited for an alpaca to spawn for a while, which I was fine with. I fed a different alpaca twice so far, so I'm like 5 times away from getting a different alpaca mount. I went through, did some, just random dailies in the Vale, and I got a lasso and, got to hang out with John for a while, just constantly hitting a key on my keyboard in hopes to get a macro off so I can get him out instead of talking to him. Um, I mean, in all honesty, I've had a really fun time this week just being in WoW and doing stuff. And when we're when we're done with the show, I'm going to log back in. I don't know if I'm going to try to do a horrific vision on my own and see if I can go into the second part on my own or not. Maybe. I can't do it before raid on Sunday because that's when I'm recording one of the read scheduled shows. So if I do that, I think I'm going to have 2 horrific visions by the end of today, or unless I already have 2 vessels, then that'll get me right up to 7 and I'll be totally caught up. So I'm cool.
Yeah, the problem with 7 is you need to either do 2 areas twice or one run where you do the first area and both areas, because you need 2 pages to go from 6 to 7.
Okay.
So
I need maybe 3 vessels total. Well,
yeah.
That's cool.
Right.
I've only gotten like 1 this week so far, and I haven't done the invasion today, so there's another one.
Yep.
And I can by that time I'll have enough coalescing blahs, so I should have enough. I can catch up. I'm not too worried about that. That's like the main thing from last week that I was most worried about.
And it's the thing that I hear most people complaining about, and actually I think it's kind of a bummer that it's become such a big like talking point of it, because I think the idea of falling behind, like you mentioned Tet pointing out, which is that based on the way other elements are capped, like you're really not. You can only really fall behind, so much, and then there's a fairly easy way to get caught back up. I mean, I guess you could just consistently fail and fail and fail and fail, but that said, there is a decent way to catch up. There is a limit to the progress. People are only going to go so far ahead. But where the really big issue for me with that sort of system is, because I'm not raiding. I don't need to play catch up. I don't need to have top level gear, because there's nothing. I mean, it's nice. It makes everything I do in the game a little easier. It looks cool. It's fun to experience the mechanic. I mean, I play Diablo 3 and I do Greater Rifts. That gear isn't progressing me in any like big raid capacity, but I don't need it to still feel compelled to get in and play Diablo, So it's not to say that that isn't it's not nothing, but it isn't a major point for me. If I'm not at a new eye level in a week, it's not going to be the end of my world. I will go on very easily. Yeah. But the problem I have with this system is when you think about it, at best, everybody is up front holding hands at the same place. That's if you're doing the best job. You're the most dedicated WoW player in the world. I'm experiencing all the content. I'm doing everything I can. I'm maximizing my visions. I'm getting in there. I'm getting it done. You are hand in hand with all the other front runners. At worst, you are falling behind. And I think it's not a great system to have a system where people are either all at the same default spot or feeling like they're failing. Whether that's because they're quote unquote falling behind, or just like, oh man, I'm not up there with everybody else. Like there's falling behind in the, oh, my raid team's counting on me, and there's falling behind on the, oh, look, they're getting to do the cool new stuff because they didn't mess up a run like I did. Like there's variations of it. And I think that's a poorly designed system, because I think there should be even though I'm not going to be the person who gets it, there should be a reward for people who are like, yeah, I went in and I just dedicated myself to running this thing, and I kept running them, and I mastered heroic visions, and I put up all the difficulties and kept getting in there and kept doing it. Like, those people do deserve some level of reward for that, and to be able to move past where the general flow of everybody else is going to be. I think that should be the case. And I think if somebody's just going to go in every now and then yeah, naturally they would fall behind. That's sort of how it goes. So I just don't think this is a great system. I also don't think it's great to have a system that's essentially repeatable content, that you limit the amount of times people can repeat it. Yeah. So I have my issues with it. I went ahead and I posted it in a place where there's a lot of other content creators, a lot of people I respect. I got a lot of pushback from some, and I totally get why for some people they don't want more than this. Like, the idea of doing more horrific visions in a week is too much. And it's usually because they also raid, and they raid multiple tiers of raiding, or they do dungeons, or they're doing all of it because they have to be cutting edge, top of the line, best in class. And their like laundry list of things they have to do is huge. My laundry list of things to do in WoW is not huge. It's maybe dailies if you can find your will to care enough to keep doing these things this long into the expansion. Yeah. And that's pretty low drive. So when Blizzard says, hey, we're going to put in a new mechanic that can be soloable, and you could go do it with your friends if you wanted, and there's none of these typical barriers we have are in place there, I go, oh, hell yeah, that's awesome. And then they go, well, it's going to be limited, and you're going to spend about 30 minutes a week on this thing. Yeah. Oh. And what am I doing the rest of the time? Oh, those dailies you didn't want to be doing that much. Oh, okay. Good.
So you can do it.
I guess this is what I'm doing. And so it's a little bit of a letdown for me. I'm hoping Torghast is something completely different and better, and this is just dipping the toes in. But if anybody wonders, why is John being so vocal about this? It's because this was fun. Like, this was super fun. Horrific Visions are great. I'm like Ben. I've been logging in like crazy. I've been playing like crazy. I'm having generally a good time, even doing some of those dailies. especially because the rewards got upped. Man, I was like, all of a sudden, I'm like getting some sweet gear from just doing dailies and caches and stuff. I was like, all right, 430 gear. I'll do this. This is great. Um, there's definitely a lot of fun to be had, but that's why it's so rough for me, and why I harp on it so much is because I want Torghast to be awesome. I wish this was what I hoped Torghast would be, but it isn't. And I don't know. I still think they could give us more runs. It's already limited in plenty of other ways. Just let people get in there. Or even just have Rathion be like, Champion, I found a way to simulate what it's like in that realm. You're going to want to get practice before you run in there. And you go, okay, yeah, I do want practice because it'd be nice to know what walls I can and can't walk through before I go in there and it counts. So I wish they would put something like that in there so I could at least go in and kind of take my time and plan my route a little better than just getting in there and going, oh god, I have to run because I have to be perfect and I didn't watch a video.
True. Well, Ted, how are you doing with it? Because I mean, you as one of the raid leaders on my raid team, and someone who strives to set the example for what you should hopefully be doing for our very casual team. Like, how far are you in? Because I know that you were able to group up a bunch with it.
So, one, I will answer, John, and I think when you go into the throne room to kill Thrall or Ilaria or whoever's in there, and you're at a rank where you haven't done everything that run that you need to do it, it should just pop up a message that says, hey, if you kill her, you're not going to advance your cloak. And, that's it. If you're running out of sanity and you need to kill her just to get out and get the one chest, you do it. And if not, you go, oh, thanks for the reminder. I need to go back and.
Yeah, like Rathion should be all like, traveler, adventurer, you should go in and do this.
Yeah, or even
Exactly.
just in that little room where it's like you've committed to going in and doing a vision, but you haven't really committed to going in and doing a
Right.
vision. He could sit there and go, by the way, if we're going to increase your cloak's power, you're going to have to go even further into the vision.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
be like, there's certain areas you can go. The corruption is worse in some. Make sure you check the map to decide.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe make that map, make it crystal clear where you need to go to do these things.
Big X, don't go here.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm at rank 6.5. So I've got one of the two pages because we played it safe, because we were seeing Stormwind for the first time. We knew what Orgrimmar was as far as that. So that's the other thing, is now that it flipped to Stormwind, it was like starting all over again, but we're at a higher rank and have to go further in a new zone. So it was like kind of learning everything over again. So we cleared everything up to Ilaria. So we had a straight shot for her when we came back. And then we went into the second area and kind of looked and said, okay, there's 8 bombs you have to click on. And while you're in that area, you get this little fire, basically hot foot, and it's going to bounce you around while it's on you. So you need to watch where you're going that you don't let go. I can sneak past that mob group, boink, and it throws you into the mob group. So we had one death, so we had to burn one of our sanity orbs to resurrect that person, which left us one for Ilaria. So we were kind of like, okay, kill the mini boss, kill the second mini boss. Okay, we're good on sanity, made it back to Ilaria and pop the orb to clear our to reset our sanity, and then go in and killed her. So we had a successful run. But I'm looking like, okay, if we had that second orb available that we burned in the resurrection, could we have done, the other area and technically finished it in one run? Maybe, but it would have been close. And again, it's one of those things like, right now, at least, we're playing it very methodically, very safe. We're planning out our moves. We're looking at our sanity all the time, going, okay, I want to kill that mob, but I can't. The other thing is Roe and Hunt had gone down the talent tree,
Solo.
instead of instead of going sideways to pick up the free resurrection, they went down, which starts showing you chests in the vision that you can then click and get more currency from those
Mhm.
chests. And if you don't have that talent, even though you're in the run with them, you don't see the chest. So they're the only ones that could see it. So we then were like playing that. Oh, there's a chest over there. We need to clear that group anyway. Took them out. They got the extra currency. So there's a feeling when that starts happening of, even though I'm in this run and we're on the same goal, I'm falling behind because I don't get
Mhm.
extra loot out of chests that they're getting. So, it's that whole, I think once everyone gets back, like John said, to being on the front and everyone's the same again, it feels better. But if you're missing a talent or you're missing something, you feel like you're behind and you're not as enjoying it as much. I will say it was a challenge this week, that fighting Ilaria, having to like hide behind the pillar to line of
Mhm.
sight her when she went to the middle, and then come back and not end up in all the corruption puddles. And yeah, it was a bit of chaos, but we got through it. um I'm enjoying the horrific visions in a group.
Mhm.
As a tank, I probably could solo them, but it's more fun to go in with a group and plot, figure out your strategies, and it gives you a little bit more leeway, or it gives you a little bit more of a cushion, especially if you go in with like a group of 3. Then you've at least got a cushion where your DPS is generally better than the mob's health has gone up, and you
Mhm.
have somebody that could be alive to resurrect you if you accidentally die. So it gives you that little safety cushion. So we did one with 5, and that was interesting. Generally, we run with usually 3 people because that seems about the right
Yeah.
optimization. I'm enjoying it. Um, my concern going into this patch is exactly what I thought would happen, and that is, this is fun in the horrific visions, but they didn't add anything new aside from the horrific visions. So you're, like John said, you're just doing more dailies or more world quests. And aside from the mount run we did today, or the sitting around waiting for the mount to spawn today, um, unless the quest says, hey, go kill this rare, go kill 3 rares or whatever it is, I'm not even, on Mechagon, it was like I was plotting out like, oh, I need to kill this rare for the achievement. I need to kill this rare. I need to camp that one that drops a mount. I get into the Vale, I get into Uldum, I grab the daily quests and I go do them, and then I'm like, anything else interesting around here? Nope, peace out, go to the next zone. I'm in the game enough to do the minimum I need to do each day to advance
Mhm.
everything, but there's nothing keeping me in the game right now that's compelling. It was a nice surprise when we got to the Vale on Tuesday and realized that, oh, it's not just the Vale, but it's also Kunlai Summit, and that you go in and talk to Lily and Chen, and you have to help them out with the Mogu
Yeah.
invasion in Kunlai Summit. So
Oh, we
that
should
was an
probably do those quests.
that was a whole bit of story that I didn't expect, and I'm hoping as everything progresses that there's more of those story bits and one-offs in the planning that we just haven't seen yet.
Yeah. So something that I thought was kind of weird though is the fact that the talent tree that you have,
Yeah,
like they're encouraging you to try it solo and also group up and everything, but it splits and you have to kind of choose solo or grouping it, and I
at
don't know
least
it.
at first. Yeah,
Yeah, it. But the fact that it, like, the cost goes up so much like
yeah.
after you choose one, it's really frustrating, especially as someone who I would like to try all the stuff solo, but I know I'm going to succeed if I go in as a group. It's like I'm closing off one of those doors by choosing, just one path of it. I don't know.
Well, and again, as long as, if you're going to group, as long as someone else in the group has chosen the group talents, everyone benefits from it. So,
Does it stack though? Like, so
yes.
if okay.
Like Hunts and I both took the group talent. So there's
Mhm.
3 levels of the group talent. Each gets you 50 extra sanity points. So when we did the run of 5, Hunts and I had done the group stuff. The other 3 had done the solo stuff. So we actually had 1,300 sanity instead of just 1,000 sanity.
Okay.
So that's the benefit. As long as you have at least 1 or 2 people in the group that have taken the group talents, you're buffing the overall group.
And John, I'm assuming you took the solo ones?
Oh, heck yeah. I don't want to. I mean, but that's the thing is my gut reaction is to say I don't want a group, but I. There's a reason I don't raid and do dungeons. I don't like trying to schedule my WoW time. Like, WoW is and has become the comfort game for me. Like, it's the
Right.
game I play when I want to watch something on TV. It's the game I don't have to think too much about or, can turn the sound off and do whatever I want while it's on. So, I don't really want to say commit to, oh, I'm going to do this only with a group and then sit there going, oh, I hope I can figure out when to get this group together, or we either have to schedule time or, oh, I guess I got to go find a group and, who knows if we're going to gel or, all of that. It just adds another level to what I already am frustrated by. But what I wish, and this is a good point, is that, and this is another reason why I hate the limited runs. I'm gonna keep coming back to it. It would be really great if after the show, if someone was like, "Hey, I haven't done any this week. I want to run it." I would have no problem going, "Oh, hey, let's get in there. Yeah, why don't we go pop in and run one?" I can't
Hey,
do
John,
that.
after the show, are you able to pop in and run one?
No, I can't, Ben, because you
Ah,
see, I don't have enough stupid things that I need in order to get in there and do it. So
Well,
while
good
that sounds
news.
like a fun activity to go with you all, I can't.
Actually, you might be able to, because as of 8 p.m. our time, 7 p.m. Pacific, the Mogu decided to not invade, and the Mantids decided to invade the Vale. So if you go do that minor invasion, you get another 5,500 coalescing coins, which might be enough for you to buy 1 vessel.
Actually, might be enough, yeah, with where
Right.
I'm at right now.
well, golly gee, let's do that.
Yeah.
But
So
here's the thing: it shouldn't rely on something like that
Yeah,
to be
no,
able
I
to do
agree.
it. You want content in your game. I know we've talked about this ad nauseum, but like you want content in your game, especially in a day where everybody's got a multiplayer game. Everybody has a long tail on their game. Mortal Kombat has a long tail of like, here's your
wow.
reason to log into the newest Mortal Kombat every single day. Um, every game has that. And
Yeah.
the reason that games like Fortnite and maybe not so much League, but a lot of these like large scale competitive or not even competitive, but multiplayer experiences are so easy or so popular is because it's so easy to get in and play with your friends. Now, it's easy for all of us to get in and be in WoW together. It is not easy for all of us to get in and play WoW together.
Agreed.
And so if they can come up with a system that is easy, low barrier to entry, and multiplayer, I'm all in. The problem is the ones they have require, okay, well, what's your class makeup? What's the dynamic you've got going? Is everybody there? Do you have the correct number of people? Like, is everybody at level for this content? Like, there's so many different things that you have to meet when they turn around and say like, hey, we've got content that you can just go in and run and it's a fun challenge and all of that and you can bring your friends, I'm like, sign me up, I will do that. But no, there's this currency mechanic and I've already spent mine because I did it when I was able to play, and I did it solo because it's hard to get groups going, especially if you don't know when you're going to be playing.
So
See,
if they had something that would let you, jump in and help your friends, but you just wouldn't be able to upgrade your cloak on it or something, like maybe have that be the cap for the week as opposed to, how many vessels you can get or something. It's like, I know that they have it so that, like, let's say 5 weeks down the road, if you haven't done the quests to upgrade to whatever that limit is, they'll continually spawn for you until you get to that limit, that cap per week. So maybe have that be what's going on as opposed to, the heroic vessel requirement. So, John, if you were playing and you hadn't gotten your cloak thing upgrade or whatever, I could jump in and help you even if I've done it myself.
Yeah.
And this way, you wouldn't be limited to, okay, what level is everybody's cloak at versus, do you need 2 runs? Do you need 4? And, it fosters a community. And for something like the casual raid team that we have, that'd be perfect. It'd help people catch up. It would, we'd all be working together to, just grow the team as it is, because it's something that we want to do. In fact, Wednesday, when we went through raid, we were working on the first boss, and then a lot of people hadn't done their heroic visions yet, so we ended up ending raid so that we can do that just split off into a whole bunch of groups. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there, I don't have a vessel, and I didn't get to play with everybody. And
Yeah.
I was the one who said, hey, why don't we do this so we can split up so people can do heroic visions and stuff.
Horrific, but yes.
Yeah, horrific. I
I know.
put it on there. But I mean, it didn't feel good, but by the time I was done, doing all the dailies and stuff like that, I had enough to buy a vessel. So yay, but all my friends had already done theirs.
Yeah. And
So,
and I think that's
yeah.
the big, like, I figured last week I had enough to do, to get the cloak to rank 6. So that had to be 5 vessels because one for each rank. And this week so far I've gotten 3. I may have enough to buy 4. We'll see. I think what's going to happen, because you can only have 5 vessels at one time,
Mhm.
and then there's also a cap on coalescing vision. But I think that you're going to get to a point where you're going to have, enough banked up that you'll be able to cap your cloak if you get caught up, and still have vessels left over to help other people, or vice versa. But I think it's just the growing pains of getting through the first couple of weeks and figuring out
Mhm.
when to use the vessels with what. I mean, John, I was surprised. I figured you'd grab, Kyle and a couple others, but like you said, he just asked you about it. Your mythic, the team you were doing the mythic runs with. I figured that would be the team that you'd be doing horrific visions with.
Yeah, but I
It's
mean,
not-
like, that was all very impromptu stuff. Like, yeah, we ran a lot together, but it was just like, oh, we're all playing. Do we have enough for a group? Yeah, okay. Do we have a group? Yeah, okay. And like, that's kind of how
Gotcha.
it went. But
Okay.
it was very impromptu then, and now I don't even know how many of them are still playing. I think.
Yeah.
And
And that's
technically,
the other thing.
now you definitely have enough people for the group because it's 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there's at least, I'm not like I'm done with 8.3. I think it's a good patch so far, but I think there's some tweaks or just some time. It's like we want to get everything done up to the cap to stay current, but if you fall behind, you're not that far behind and you can catch up in the next week or the next week. But I think, John, you're right. It's that feeling of, if I'm not current, I'm not having fun because I'm always behind. And I think there's got to be some way to balance, that out.
I think there's something artificial about it. Is part of my problem. Is it
Yeah.
feels what it feels like. I'm not saying this happened, but go ahead and wrap your head in tinfoil and see where this lands. There's something about the limit and how it doesn't quite gel with all the systems in a proper way, and just sort of seems like, oh, weird that that's the cost and this is how many we get, and I don't
Yeah.
know, this just doesn't seem to match what you're putting out content wise. So in my head, the way it feels is that Blizzard got together and they looked at the content of 8.3 and they said, are we doing any patches after this? And they said, nope, this is it. And they said, I don't think this is enough to get people to Shadowlands. Well, it is if we put real strong caps on the content.
Yeah.
Great, let's do it. You know, and I'm not gonna say that that's 100% what they did,
Mhm.
but
But it does feel artificially stretched.
it feels like honestly, usually I'm just annoyed at gating because I'm just like, because I'm anti-gating 100%. They should get
Right.
rid of it in WoW. It shouldn't exist. And it's the biggest lie that they stand behind since the days of, oh, we can't change the silhouettes of the characters. The silhouette of the characters is too important to PvP that if each character didn't have a unique silhouette, people wouldn't know what they were fighting in PvP. That was horseshit then. It clearly doesn't matter now. And I always said that. Here's my new one. Anybody who tells you gating is important is lying to you. Anytime you sit there and go, no, I can see why gating's important, you're lying to yourself. And you're not giving yourself enough faith as a human being to find fun in something you're having enough fun enough in to pay $15 a month for. Like, you pay to play this game, you pay to have fun. I believe you can find fun in that, whether you burn through the content in a week or whether you burn through the content in 7 months and the next expansion's out and you're still doing whatever. Because they didn't give you a quest to go to Ice Crown. Whatever you do, I think you can find fun in this game. And if you don't, then you unsub. And if people drop their subs like crazy and Blizzard loses a bunch of people because everybody burned through their content, well then Blizzard, I guess what you have to do is you have to go and find a way to make content that's not gated, that continues to be fun and engaging for people. But guess what? If playing an alt was better in this expansion and a better experience, I'd be busy every single day in WoW. I've only leveled one toon to max because playing an alt sucks this expansion. It hasn't been fun and I couldn't bring myself to do it. And it's even worse now because now I've got the Vulpira and I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love to play a Vulpira. And the only thing I've been thinking through the 13 levels of Vulpiraness that I've played so far is, man, this is going to be better in Shadowlands, isn't it? Like, am I being stupid? Is it dumb that I just went through this zone? Because, boy, it's going to be better than this. You know,
Well, let me tell you about my Vulpira experience so far, John. Because I saved the 120 boost for this, and I was super excited. So, make my Vulpira mage. And she's glorious. I get in the game. I transmog her up, because you have to. You have to look good.
Of course.
And then I'm like, okay, cool. Let's try out some of this new content on the Vulpira. Let's have some fun with this.
Nope.
Oh, I need to do the entire war campaign.
Yeah, you have to unlock. You have to do enough
Yeah.
of the war campaign to unlock Nazjatar. Once you unlock Nazjatar, then Illyria shows up and gives you the quest to go do the new content. You don't have to do the whole war campaign. I think it ends with, you remember riding the horse through town with Lily and Voss?
Because I just did that.
That's okay, because I just did this on my
Okay.
goblin. Right after that is when you get the quest to unlock Nazjatar, and then after you unlock Nazjatar and set up the camp, then if you go back, Illyria should be there and unlock the 8-3 stuff.
Okay, good, because I'm just like, I can't. I've done the war campaign.
Yeah.
Three times for the Horde. And I've done, up to Nadjatar on the Alliance, and I'm just kind of like, I can't do that again.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, don't get me wrong, it's good storytelling, and they're cool quests, and I enjoyed it. But when your alt has to do every single thing with it, it's like, come on. Like, I was surprised that I actually had 4 followers unlocked on my Vulpira, on my boost. I'm like, hey, look, I've got followers. This is great. The strongholds were in place. I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah. And then it's like, oh no, but you still have to go find Derek and res him and all this stuff. I'm just like, no, come on. Like, especially with the Vulpira, think about it. They weren't introduced until after the whole war campaign was over, after Sylvanas left. Why would you have a boost for 120 available and not just throw it right there? I don't know.
Yeah, RJ says alts can just accept the quest to get world quests, and then you immediately get a quest for Nazjatar without having to do any of the war campaign.
Oh, maybe
I
I think
I'll
that
look
might
into
be true. I got a boosted rogue that I played on the Alliance, and I
Okay.
don't remember having to do a bunch of war campaign stuff.
Okay.
So I don't.
My goblin, which was at 120 and hadn't unlocked Nazjatar, didn't have the option to unlock Nazjatar until I got to the Lillian Voss and rescuing or you know, blowing up the town.
I
So
may have had to
Mhm.
do some. It's hard to tell because again, this was now on the Alliance, so I can't one to
Yeah.
one and say, "Oh,
right.
I made it this far." But I do remember just kind of plugging away at what I felt were important quests until Nashatar popped up. But I remember it popping up fairly quick for me
Okay.
on my
Yeah,
Alliance alt. So that
I'm
could be
probably very
correct.
close then.
Um,
Probably close.
Regardless, it's not great. Like, I think most
Mhm.
people will agree playing alts in this expansion hasn't been super fun. And it's
Yeah.
part of why Shadowlands and how it seems to be their approach for alts is going to be is so exciting.
Oh, yeah.
It also means that here we are in the in-between times going, all right, well, I guess we're winding down. I guess we're looking to the future. Now's when you do typically get your alts out and start playing them. And I'm having a hard time doing it because I'm just like, oh, right, I got to go through all of this.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason why, and again, it's too early for that because there's still people grinding Azerite like crazy. But it is why I wish that when we get a little further and a little closer to Shadowlands and we get to that point where everything becomes trivial, make Island Expeditions soloable.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a great source of XP, that's a great source of Azerite, and removing the group requirement, just letting people go in there and grind it like crazy would be a very
explore.
welcome thing. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
Would be super fun. So,
Yeah. You know, I
Um,
will say, my Heart of Azeroth is now at 70.
Nice.
and also because I think they'll ultimately do it no matter what, because it's very rare that once you move to a new expansion, they leave group requirements to get certain items
Right.
in previous expansions. So there's a lot of mounts and pets locked behind Island Expeditions
And transmog.
and Transmog, and it wouldn't surprise me at all that at some point in the future they make it to where you can queue for it solo. I think it might be a nice thing if they did it early.
Fun
Yeah.
fact, I still haven't run enough different islands to progress my,
Oh, your
experience
talent
tree or
tree
whatever.
on the horde
Yeah,
on
on the boat.
ship. Oh,
I
jeez.
haven't even gotten the second one yet because I haven't done five different islands. I've done at least 5 island expeditions, but they weren't different islands.
I
Okay.
don't feel like I have, but I somehow got the whole tree, so I
Yeah.
don't.
I don't even know what's on the tree. I stopped looking.
I was very gung ho the early parts of this
Yeah,
expansion,
so was I.
so
Yeah.
it's all a blur. It feels like it was so long ago, but apparently I did it at one point.
Yeah. I will tell you this because Ben, you said your necklace is at 70. John, what's yours at?
Almost 72.
Okay. I've got mine at 73, but the only reason is I did a little bit of that. Oh, I'm going to save the Paragon bag and open it up after the patch. But honestly, I do the one emissary quest a day along with the dailies for the 8.3 stuff. And then I just go down to the boat and I have, I think last I checked, I've got 53,000 war resources.
That's a lot more than
Yeah.
me.
I know.
I
It's
think
just
I
from-
have something like 25,000. It's
Right.
ridiculous.
And all I do is look for the Azerite quests and just send those out on missions. And just that's all I'm farming on the boat. I'm not doing any rep. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just sending the Azerite missions. So every couple of hours, it's like, oh, here's 600 more Azerite. Great.
Me
you know,
too, but
throw-
I stopped getting them. I've had 2 days in a row now where I've had no Azerite missions.
Weird.
It's been just rep and pet tokens and little
And
lunch
gold.
boxes.
And like the gold isn't even worth it. You're like 94 gold. I can get that, go sneeze on that guy over there, and he'll give me 94 gold.
I have 2,874 war resources.
Yeah.
It's,
I didn't do as much as you guys for
Well,
the
I think-
entire expansion. Apparently,
I think part of it may be that talent tree, Ben.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Look, all I know is that the only reason I have that much is because I've been doing the dailies and opening as many chests as I find
Yeah.
in Pandaria and Uldum. Like, if it wasn't for that, I would be out.
Yeah, but aren't you
Right,
doing
right before
your
8.3, I had like 30 war resources, and I
you-
was constantly going through.
aren't you doing your emissary stuff now though? Because
No.
but the rewards are so good. Isn't
Well,
four,
I mean,
isn't
if there's
430
gear
gear
now-
for you? Like, isn't that
No,
an upgrade?
445.
Yeah, I got
I
445.
got I got
today.
two 445s. So.
It's not 445 yet for me. I'm
Oh.
like just right on the cusp.
Well, but you need to do more to get. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I got a 445.
Wait, what? We have to grind in WoW for something? Oh.
I got a 445 belt today.
Yeah.
Belt items, for some reason, have been my go-to this expansion. I am tripping over belts like crazy.
You get belts. Barb gets cloaks.
Still got
Yes.
the same shitty weapons that I
So
had to
yet
farm.
No one gets weapons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where are they?
I got a 445 shield out of the emissary quest today. Wasn't a weapon, but it was my offhand.
Oh
so I was happy.
man, I would kill for that.
I know.
And I read it. I
I still
read it
have a
on the quest, and it was
415.
like contains an item or weapon or armor or weapon, and I was like,
Right.
oh, can you imagine if it was a weapon? Oh, it'd be so good. I might even change specs if it was a dagger. Oh, it'd be so good. And no, it wasn't.
No.
It was a belt. Stupid.
Yeah. No. It's just frustrating. I will say this. So positive note. Now that the Veil isn't under full invasion and it's Oldham that's under the full invasion,
It's pretty again.
it looks good. I was like, oh, Ben's gonna be happy this week. It's not under invasion. You can see like, oh, they were over here trying to put the head back on one of the big statues with the spear guy in the gateway, and yeah, no, the veil looks good. I mean, Oldham looked like Oldham last week. Oldham looks like Oldham this week.
Mhm.
A
A lot of sand and purple.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is I could see them like as they're progressing, they're like, oh, go kill 5 rares. Oh, wait, there's not enough rares up. Okay, go kill 4. No, we're gonna make it 3 rares, and we'll increase the spawn of the rares. So you can see like they're adjusting the daily quests as they get feedback on them. The one that was yesterday was
One rare.
yeah. No, the one yesterday was really interesting because it's like, go kill this certain type of mob. And I like flew all the way around the zone. I'm like,
Oh,
this
the
mob,
Rift Lords.
right. I'm like, that mob does not exist until I saw someone killing it, but I saw it come out of one of those portals. And I'm like, wait, those portals don't spawn. Oh, those come from the void pillars. If you click on the void pillar,
Yeah.
it creates the rift, and then like 5 little things pop out. You kill all those, then the void lord pops out. Oh, and then you get 1. Great. Okay, let me go find 4 more of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one took me a second too, and then I was like, oh, they're everywhere. Like it went
Yeah.
from nothing to everywhere.
Yeah.
Biggest gripe so far in 8.3, more than anything else.
Oh, okay. Here's Ben.
Okay.
Here it is right here. Stuff that you right click to help your assault or whatever, single use. When did this start happening?
Oh, you mean like
every
the-
other time, like in every other world quest ever, it's like, hey, there's 500 of these things here. Someone runs up and clicks it. Guess what? Doesn't affect you. You run up, you click
Yeah.
it, boom, you're good. Not this. And fighting people for that stuff is annoying. What's even worse is like, hey, I'm gonna fly down and I'm gonna click that thing. Oh, something spawned and it's attacking me. Someone else go click the thing.
That's why I like
Oh, it's
being a
the
rogue, because
worst.
you can vanish and then it'll attack them, and then you can click the portal anyway.
That's what I have. I have my stuns and stuff like that. And I'm like, Ben, you just need to fly down and pin it and then grab the item.
Yeah, because that
No, but
actually
the Mogul weapons today were frustrating because it was like, you need 10 of these, and I'm like, not happening.
in one of those kind of like lesser visions or whatever you call them, it was weird because I felt like the drop rate was so high on items to like save some of your sanity, and then one of the
Right.
mission objectives was rescuing people, so there were people all over the place that you could
Right.
rescue that would restore your sanity. I was like, I could be in here forever.
You
And then I
could.
discovered that it was a really good place to get the items you needed for building that crafting thing. And for the
Right.
crafting profession, I was
The
like,
void tendrils.
I'm gonna be in here forever because this is a great farming place. And I
Yep.
stayed in that
One more of
vision
those.
for so long. I was
Oh,
in there
yeah.
for ages. I got 10. I got 3 of the pet that drops in there. I had drops for
pet drops in
days.
there?
Yeah,
that's-
there's a cocoon thing that drops in those.
Yeah.
Look for that.
Oh, speaking of which, are you guys working on your void egg?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's taken some time, that void egg. I gotta remember. I gotta get in tonight so I just don't
Yeah,
fall behind
it's
on
it's 30 days of basically go do this quest, go do this. There's an egg you get in Uldum, and it's down. I think it's down where remember the goblin in the huts that you had to work for, the 9 guy.
Oh yeah.
It's down in that area, and once you get it, you take it back, and they're like, "Oh, this is interesting. We need you to go get 10 void crystals that spawn in the void rifts, and if you're in Oldham and the invasion happens to be in the Vale like it was last week, you had to go back to the Vale and get them in the Vale and then bring them back." Or one
So
was
what you're saying is I go and do that and
It's
start it today.
It's another daily
Yes.
quest, and you do
It
it for a
is.
long time, and you get a mount.
yeah,
I believe,
it's like
right?
it's like feed the alpacas. Yeah, you get a mount at the end of it. um
What is the
Right.
mount?
A bug.
Oh,
Yep.
is it the bug with the
I think so, yeah.
with the tentacles?
Yeah, looks like Cthulhu's
Yeah.
attached to its face.
I don't know if I want that.
See, that's the one reason why I'm sad they're not in the Vale anymore, is because I was trying to get that pet so badly.
Right.
The little mini mind flayer. Like, I just feel
Yeah.
I
like
think
as
it's
a
adorable.
as a D&D
It is.
fan, I feel like I need to have that.
You need
so-
you need your
I just need-
lithid companion
Yeah.
following you. Yeah.
Name it Bo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should name it Bo.
But there's a lot, and the daily quests at least are getting, there's some variety to them. I was almost thankful because I went in to do the daily vision today, and it's like I click on the quest giver, I'm like, okay, please be something simple. It's like close 3 rifts. I went done. I literally zoned in. You run past the flight master and you just keep going straight, and there's a guy at the very edge of the barrier. You kill the guy, close the rift, wait like 30 seconds, another rift will please. You close it, wait 30 seconds. You can close it before the guy respawns and get out of the rift. I'm like, done. It was like a minute and
That's
a
how I've
half,
been-
and I had that whole thing done.
That's how I've been doing all those rifts. I have not stuck around in them. I'm just like, cool.
No, when what John mentioned, because I got the item to make for the jewel crafting. Yeah, I needed more of those, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go in there and do that.
Because you can
yeah.
get kicked out as long as you finish the quest and
Correct.
and turn it in, right?
Yeah,
okay.
if you run
Oh,
out of
really?
sanity,
I
yeah,
always leave early. I didn't.
no,
risk
if
it.
you as long as you've completed the quest, if you get kicked out due to sanity loss in the daily vision, again, this is daily vision,
Mhm.
then yes, you can still turn it in.
Okay, cool. Well, before we close out, I think that there's one more thing we need to talk about just really fast.
Oh yeah.
So last night, I was, in the Vale, just going around killing stuff, and all of a sudden I see someone else next to me killing stuff, and it's John.
That's right.
It was great.
Same place, same
then-
time, fighting the same monsters, because that's how we
Yeah.
roll.
Exactly. And then he left after I waved, which is what normally happens because he never looks at his chat. So
Yep.
if for some reason, I know we've said it on the show before, but if for some reason you send John a message and he doesn't answer back, it's not personal. He does it to everybody because he
It's
doesn't look at his
it's
chat.
Literally everybody.
But you know what he did today, Ben?
I heard a little bit.
Hold on. Let me tell
Yeah.
you, because I did the same thing to both of you. So after I flew away from Ben, this is last night again, mind you. After I flew away from Ben, I went and killed a mob, and I got myself a cool lasso that
Yep.
I read on the internet would get me a dragon mount. So
But you didn't read how.
no, I just was like, what do I do with this? It's like, find a white dragon and lasso it. And I was like, okay, I could probably do that. And so I'm flying around, and I finally saw that Ben had waved at me, and I said, oh, hey, man, sorry, missed it. And he's like, it's expected. And so as we were chatting, I just said, hey, if you see a white dragon, let me know. And he goes, hey, I got the lasso too. If you see a white dragon, you let me know. And I said, well, I'm not going to do that because now we're enemies. Because I didn't want to give up another mount to Ben. He's got a
Right.
history.
Exactly.
And
A little
so,
history there.
so I decided, I was decided we were no longer friends at that point, but Ben did his research and found out that multiple people can use the lasso, multiple people can get it, and we can actually work together on this. So, he invited me to a party and we went and we waited at a spawn point, and it's got a 1 to 2 hour respawn period. So naturally we waited there for 2 hours. Waiting for this stupid dragon to appear, and it did. Ben got it. I did not. I panicked. Like,
Did you you interrupted your own casting, didn't
I
you?
did. I found out that I play I'm like Batman. If I'm prepared, if I'm well prepared for a situation, I can do okay. But if I don't know what's going on, I am a hot mess. It's not good. And that dragon appeared, and I went, hit the button, no move, no, hit the button, no move, and it's gone. Okay. Because it despawns in 10 seconds. It's smaller than I thought. It was higher than I thought.
It was much higher than we thought.
Yeah.
And it disappeared very quickly. So I didn't get it. Ben got it, and I was like, well, crap.
I was so happy, and I felt so bad for you because we sat there literally the entire time. And I wanted to talk to him, but I couldn't because I kept hitting my one key because I had a macro for target use, just over and over again, just for 2 hours straight.
So fast forward to today, and I read the patch note that they were not really patch note, but the warning on Twitter that the Mogu invasion was going to end in a couple hours, and I thought, I gotta get this. Like, the spawn's gonna go away, so I need to get this. So I log in, I fly out to where everything is. I see a couple people floating around in the sky, much higher than everybody was floating around yesterday, and I think, okay, great, we got this. So I go floating up there with them, and again, not paying very much attention, and then I was like, I should ask and see if anybody knows how long it's been since it appeared, because honestly, I kind of had to poop, and I was curious if I was going to be able to get away or not. And so I was like, all right, I'll ask somebody. And there was an alliance person there, and that isn't going to work. There was a horde person there. I clicked them. It's Tetsemi right there waiting for it to spawn.
He's not looking at nameplates or anything. He's just like, oh, horde, okay.
So Tet's there. I go, oh, hey, man, how long has it been since this thing spawned? And he said he'd been waiting about an hour. So I knew I had about an hour wait. And Tet left and came back a couple times, really risking it. And but all said and done, it did spawn again, and both Tet and I got it on that run. So all three of us in 2 nights got the mount, and for some reason I was there for both of your captures of it.
Which is awesome. Yeah, so I had actually gotten a group, because I had gotten the lasso yesterday as well. And then I got in a raid group, and I was, there were like 30 people in this raid group waiting for this. And the problem is all the people are floating around up here, but if you float around up there, you get that speed debuff from the dragons. I'm like, well, they said it spawns and it just books it. And I'm like, if they're up there getting that debuff, then we're not going to be able to catch it. So I stayed lower, out of range of the great dragons flying over that slowly debuff you. And so the thing spawned in, and I shot up, and it was gone. By the time I made it up to the level where my targeting macro would hit it and use it, the dragon was gone. I'm like, okay, so it spawns right here. So that's where I was when John found me. Like, I'm waiting right here at this height.
He definitely was, because when I found him, he had like 14 stacks of that debuff on him.
Now, what's great is Never found out an even better, Can I tell the story, or do you want to tell it?
Go right ahead, John. I don't
Okay.
know if you saw this on our Discord or not. This is
Yes.
amazing. It's
So-
the weirdest thing.
Nevermore found the best thing. If you have the vulpine familiar that flies, the foxmouth that flies,
Yeah.
once you get 9 stacks of that debuff, it loses its wings and it starts dog paddling instead of flying, because the animations are based on how fast the mount is going. So if you get 9, 10, or 11 stacks, 11 being the most, you lose the wings off the dog and it just starts dog paddling through the air.
It's so weird.
That's incredible.
That is Nevermore just made my day with that. I'm like, that is the best thing ever.
Yeah, she was so excited. She ran in while I was working. She's like, "Why is he the cutest thing in WoW ever?" I'm like, "Okay." So I come out there and she showed me. I'm like, "That's really cool." She's like, "And Ted, help me test it.
Yeah.
It works."
Yeah. Well, the
So,
problem was I got too, as she said in her post, I got too close to the mouth hole, and it slowed down, and then it started attacking me, and I went, "Ow, that thing hurts. I have none of my abilities," and I was dead and falling. I'm like, okay, because that thing is 167 million hit points.
So I feel like we should answer them. Chat room is asking, does Mogu have to be active for that mount? And that is my understanding that yes.
The Mogu have to be invading. It has to be an invasion in that, they have to be in the invasion phase of that zone.
So
yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, to anybody who has the lasso that may have missed it, but there will be plenty of time. It'll be back. Just look
There are
for
a
the
lot of people who got that mount.
giant
Yeah.
crowd of people up in the sky waiting
There
for a
was.
dragon to appear.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw Lita got it earlier today. I was super happy for her on that. I saw a lot of people like in our guild Discord. They were talking about it and stuff, and like it. I was surprised at how fast it actually dropped for me too. I thought it was going to be like it says it's a rare drop, but not really.
Yeah, it's just it's a rare spawn during a certain phase. So again, like, John's like, they almost got it was fun for us because we knew what we were doing. We knew what to expect. And we knew it was going away. So there was a little bit of artificial urgency put into the thing of, I've got to be here, because next week, they could just say, well, the Mantid are still invading and we wouldn't get the Mogu until the week after, but also the major invasion would be in the zone. So does that change what's going on?
Yeah.
Because, and that's the whole thing. So,
well, one of the funniest things that happened while John and I were waiting is, so John started a count. He's like, okay, it's going to spawn in 5. Or like he's actually counting down 3, 2, 1.5, and all of a sudden there's a giant cloud serpent next to us.
right. It's Alani.
Oh, and I'm hitting it really quick. Yeah, it's Nalani right there, just flying right by, and I'm like, you called the wrong one.
It did shock me because I was doing the countdown and I'm like typing and I was about to send 1 and all of a sudden a dragon just goes boof and I was like, oh my gosh, I called it.
Yeah, the Nalani flew past us so many times, and
Yes.
every single time I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not it. But yeah, if you're right where Nalani spawns, you are too low.
Yeah. Go higher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what was funny is because I was camping it, John showed up and then I'm like, okay, I got to go get my daughter from school because she had rehearsal for her play. So I'm going to be gone. I'm like, all right, John, I'm leaving. I got to go. Good luck. Came back. John's still there. I'm like, well, it didn't spawn. Great. No problem. So I start camping again. And then I had to go do something like, John, I'm stepping away from the keyboard. If it spawns, you're welcome. And I left and then had to do something for like 10 minutes. Came back. John's still there. I'm like, well, that didn't work.
Yeah. Well, overall, I'm very proud of us. Nevermore does have her own lasso. She got it while questing earlier today. So
Sweet.
good luck to her on the next Mogu invasion.
Yep.
And until next time, Tetsemi, where can people find you?
So they can find me. I am on Twitter at Ivory Tiger. And I am also on the AIE podcast, which we are doing a recording tomorrow instead of Sunday, which would be our normal day, at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And that we are going to cover Final Fantasy 14. So,
Very cool. Very
yep.
cool.
Oh, by the way, I hit max level in Final Fantasy 14.
Oh,
so
nice.
I have a level 80
Congratulations.
over there.
What class?
Bard. Shocker.
Bard.
John,
Hello.
if people are looking for you, where can they find you?
Hey, best place, follow me on Twitter at John_Jagger. I will let you know what I'm doing, what I'm working on, where you can find me. But generally speaking, you can find me talking about, let's do it in reverse order this week. Playing Dungeons and Dragons on Sunday on a show called There Will Be Dungeons. It's a
Core!
fantastic. Nope, got it wrong. Wrong show. Messed you up. There Will Be Dungeons. It's a fun D&D show. You should check it out. We have a good time. Therewillbedungeons.com for information on that. Or, as Ben teased with a subtle screaming of its name, you can catch me talking about video games on Core.
There will be dungeons.
Yep, you did it. And you can check that out at heroesforyou.com. We talk about video games and sometimes play ill thought out, poorly conceived Jeopardy knockoff that is
Ridiculous.
Anyway, Ben, where can people find you?
Oh, wow. The best place to find me is actually on Twitter. I'm at Ben Bumhofer. If you want to hear me talk about other stuff, like whether it be comics, video games, movies, whatever, I do a show with Aludra called Box Fort, where we talk about whatever. We just have fun.
Yeah.
If you like Dungeons and Dragons and you're like, wow, that There Will Be Dungeons is pretty good, and you want to hear another show with one of us on it, this time it'd be me. I'm on +5 to hit. That's our ongoing game. We don't record every single week, but we do still have fun and play. So check that out. And last but not least, if you're like, what is this Dungeons and Dragons that everybody's talking about? Check out DN Discussions. That is a show that Ryan Reeder and I do about Dungeons and Dragons, where we look at things from like a DM perspective as well as a player perspective and just kind of chat. This show, though, Azeroth Roundtable, if this is the very first time that you've heard this show and you like it, you can check out every episode we've ever done on AzerothRoundtable.com, as well as on iTunes, Spotify, and a whole bunch of other places. If you have any questions, comments, want to tell us what you think about the horrific visions and gating and everything like that, you can email us. Send that to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com, kind of like Phalia did, which thank you very much for the email. That was very kind.
Oh.
Really appreciate it. Also, we are on Twitter as well, at AzerothRT. That's where you can find us. And of course, we do stream Friday nights on twitch.tv/AzerothRT. Check out our Twitter to find out when we're going live.
That's right. Hey, that brings us to the end of the show. A special part of the show where we like to thank people who have gone to patreon.com/AzerothRT and liked us enough to support us for some odd reason. We appreciate those who've done it. We appreciate those who might do it. So patreon.com/AzerothRT is where you can go to be one of those people I vaguely alluded to. Every week we give a special shout out, though, to people who do go there and go above and beyond by becoming part of the Murloc Club, and that is Aaron, Blixie the Rogue, Brandon O, Caleb M, Kilroy Tastic, Sarah M, and Taryn. Thank you so much for supporting this mess.
And of course, thank you to one of our newest patrons, Ian G, for jumping on board and supporting the show. We really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yep. Tetsemi, as always, thank you very much for joining us. Chat room, you guys were awesome as always. And John, I like doing this with you. We should keep doing this.
Yeah, what if we recorded another show?
Yeah, I think we can do that, like next week or something.
Probably.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, okay.
All right, well, everybody, until next episode, thank you very much for listening to us and supporting us in every way that you do. And until next time, be good to each other.
That's right.
What he said.
Be good.